Previously on Boss to Bitcoin podcast.
Any monetary system. Dito sa episode 5, we'll talk about volatility niya. Direction nung volatility na yun, isa lang yung trend niya, no? Up and to the right. No? Kung titignan mo siya, yung system integrity and yung monetary guarantee niya, and pati yung security niya, it is in fact the most stable and boring monetary system in the world. Hi! Welcome sa episode 6 of the Basta Bitcoin podcast. Dito sa episode 6, we'll talk about a very important relationship between two variables. No? And ito yung inflation and excessive government spending. Yung karamihan ng mga tao, of course, na raramdaman nila yung inflation. Pero hindi nila nakikita yung connection ng inflation dun sa excessive government spending. And so we'll try to highlight that in this episode by using a very simple model. Kapag naintindihan nyo yung relationship between inflation and excessive government spending, magkakaroon ng linaw yung pag-iisip nyo tungkol sa napakaraming mga social policies ng ating gobyerno. And finally, kapag naintindihan nyo yung relationship between inflation and excessive government spending, makikita nyo yung importance ng Bitcoin as a solution both to inflation and government expenditure. Let's start with a foundational concept. Yung pera, pwede nyo siyang tratuhin bilang isang boto. So, yung mga mamamayan, bumoboto sila sa mga politiko, sa mga kandidato. Yung pera, ganun din. No? Yung pera, boto siya sa mga goods and services in the real world. So, kung meron kang pera, yun yung ginagamit mo para pambili ng mga kalakal at serbisyo. At yung act of voting with your money determines the price of goods and services. So, why is that very important? No? Let's start with a basic model. So, kunyari merong 10 tao sa isang simpleng ekonomiya. And yung 10 tao na yon, meron silang tig 100 pesos. So, 10 times 100 is 1,000. And yun yung tinatawag na base money or monetary base or money supply nung simple na ekonomiya na yun. And ang ibig sabihin nun, lahat ng mga kalakal at serbisyo doon sa ekonomiya, bigas, sardinas, noodles, damit, kuryente, data, etc. Right? Lahat sila pwedeng bilhin using yung 1,000 pesos na vote na yun. So, kung yung karamihan ng mga tao bumoto sa bigas or doon sa damit, ang mangyayari, yung karamihan ng boto na yon, kapag pumunta doon sa dalawang items na yon, tataas yung presyo niya. Ngunit dahil fixed yung monetary base at 1,000 pesos, kapag nagamit na yung boto doon sa dalawang kalakal na yon, hindi na pwedeng gamitin doon sa iba. Which means na the rest, bababa yung presyo niya or hindi siya tataas. Ano yung ibig sabihin yan? Sa isang ekonomiya kung saan fixed yung money supply, no, pwedeng tumaas yung presyo ng ilan, pero hindi pwedeng tumaas yung presyo ng lahat dahil limitado yung boto ng mga tao. So, may mga presyo na tumataas, may mga presyo na bumababa, but overall, yung presyo ng mga bilihin or yung price level ng lahat ng mga bilihin will remain stable. Ngayon, ang nararamdaman ng mga tao, yung nararanasan ng mga tao sa real world ay kakaiba, 'di ba? Dito sa totoong mundo, ang nakikita natin at nararanasan natin, halos lahat ng presyo ng mga bilihin ay pataas. Ang pinagkaiba lang ay yung rate ng pagtaas nila. So, whatever basket of goods and services you choose, yung general tendency ng mga kalakal at serbisyo sa buong mundo ay pataas yung presyo. So, you might want to ask why. And the reason is quite simple kung babalik ka dun sa simple economy natin na modelo, no? Ito ay dahil dumadami yung balota. Ito ay dahil dumadami yung pera. So, yun yung tinatawag na inflation. And inflation is caused by increase in the number or units of money, increase in the quantity of money, and that increase in the quantity of money is caused by only one thing: money printing. So, what is the basic principle? Well, ayon kay Milton Friedman, no, isang sikat na ekonomista, inflation is always and everywhere a monetary phenomenon. Ulitin ko, inflation is always and everywhere a monetary phenomenon. Ang ibig sabihin lang nun, merong inflation kung merong pagtaas ng quantity ng pera or dami ng balota ng mga tao para bumoto sa mga goods and services. And nangyayari yun kung merong monetary printing or money printing. And kung titingnan mo yung history ng iba't ibang mga lipunan, tuwing merong isang hari or merong isang gobyerno na nagkaroon ng oportunidad para padamihin yung pera or mag-print ng money, ginagawa niya yun. Ngayon, sabihin nyo, kung yun naman pala yung problema, kung money printing yung problema, bakit ba kasi nagpiprint yung mga gobyerno ng pera? Kung ayaw nila ng inflation, kung gusto nilang wag pahirapan yung mga tao, bakit hindi na lang sila mag-print ng pera? Ang sagot niyan is very simple, and this leads us to the next variable, which is excessive government expenditure. So, yung mga gobyerno, paano ba sila nagpopondo ng mga services nila? Well, through taxation, fees, charges, and revenues. So, lahat ng mga kinikita ng gobyerno, yun yung ginagamit nila para pang tustos sa kanilang mga gastusin para serbisyuhan yung mga mamamayan. Ngayon, para lang yan isang household. Kung yung kinikita mo ay sakto dun sa iyong gastusin, you have what is known as a balanced budget. Pwede kang matulog ng mahimbing, lalo na kung yung gastos mo ay hindi ganun kataas kumpara dun sa kinikita mo at meron ka pang savings. Kung titignan nyo yung operasyon ng mga gobyerno ngayon, lahat sila or halos lahat sila hindi ganun yung sinusunod na patakaran. They operate on what is known as a policy of budget deficits or deficit spending. Ang ibig sabihin nun, kung meron silang kinikita na pera through taxes and revenue, laging hindi sapat yun para tustusan yung gastos ng gobyerno. And tuwing meron silang tinatawag na budget deficit, paano nila sinusupplement yung deficit na yun? Well, through two things. Number one, borrowing. Umuutang sila sa international market or sa local market. And pangalawa, through money printing. So, yun yung hindi naiintindihan ng karamihan ng mga tao, na yung pagtustos dun sa excessive government spending is through borrowing na nakikita ng mga tao, and pangalawa, through money printing na hindi masyadong nakikita at hindi naiintindihan ng mga tao. And yung money printing na yun is expressed in the form of inflation. So some of you might ask, no? Kung pwede naman pala mag-print ng pera yung mga gobyerno, why don't they just print money and tapos yung problema? Well, not so fast, because kapag yung isang gobyerno nag-print siya ng napakaraming pera, it will result in hyperinflation. And over again, no, we've seen that throughout history. Nangyari yan sa Germany, nangyari yan sa Zimbabwe, nangyayari yan ngayon sa Venezuela, nangyayari yan ngayon sa Argentina, no? Kapag masyadong mabilis yung pagprint ng pera ng mga gobyerno, nag-hyperinflate. Dahil ang ibig sabihin nun, every time na nagpiprint ng pera yung mga gobyerno, binabawasan nila ng halaga yung pera ng mga tao. Which is why, kung titignan nyo ng malalim at tututukan nyo ng matindi, no, yung inflation is actually a tax. No? Hindi lang talaga siya naiintindihan ng mga tao. Dahil inflation is a policy of governments. And inflation is a way by which governments take the value of people's savings and use it to spend for the operation of governments. So now, how do you control inflation? Well, the easiest way para makontrol yung inflation is through balanced budgets. Dahil kung yung gobyerno sapat yung kinikita niya at yung ini-impose niya na mga buwis para sa kanyang mga operasyon, then hindi niya kailangan mangutang. Kung hindi niya kailangang mangutang, magiging stable yung kanyang currency in the international markets. At kung hindi niya kailangang mag-print ng pera, mawawala yung problema sa inflation. That has always been the case. But the real problem today is, number one, yung mga nasa gobyerno, wala silang incentive para magkaroon ng balanced budget. Dahil yung mga politiko, mahilig silang mangako ng kung ano-ano. Yung sinasabi nila na libreng edukasyon, libreng ospital, libreng pabahay, or libreng kung ano-ano pa. But the reality is that wala dito talaga yung libre. Yung mga sinasabing libre na yan ay kinukuha sa mamamayan through taxation and inflation. Kaya naman, tuwing makakakita ka ng mga sinasabi na social services, you need to realize na yung mga sinasabi na social services is actually taken from taxation and inflation. Kaya ultimately, dapat yung mga mamamayan maging mas sensitive sila dun sa issue ng mga libre dahil walang libre. And sa isang episode, titignan natin kung bakit lugi ka dun sa mga libre na yon because of a particular effect called the Cantillon effect. But for now, I just want you to realize na the easiest way to beat inflation is through a balanced budget. And yung mga gobyerno ngayon, they're not interested in balanced budgets dahil yung advice ng mga ekonomista sa kanila is to spend, which is to have budget deficits para i-pump prime yung economy. And that's the fundamental problem. No? You have a union of mainstream economics and governments that want to spend because they make so many promises that they really cannot keep. And the only way to keep those promises is by borrowing a lot of money and by inflating the money supply and therefore creating pain for the ordinary citizens. So ngayon na nakita nyo na yung relationship between inflation, which is the loss of the value of the currency, and excessive government spending, which is funded by borrowing and monetary inflation or money printing, you get to realize yung importance ng sound money. Balik tayo doon sa basic principle na kung yung pera ng mga tao is 1,000 pesos lang, yung pamboto nila ay hindi dumadami, stable yung presyo ng mga bilihin. Right? Pero dahil nga walang incentive yung karamihan sa mga gobyerno para magkaroon ng balanced budget, what is the solution? The solution is actually a separate monetary system. And this is where Bitcoin comes in, no? Because Bitcoin is a global, decentralized, permissionless, neutral, apolitical form of monetary system, and verifiable yung scarcity niya at 21 million Bitcoins or 2.1 quadrillion Satoshis. Kapag yung Bitcoin becomes the world reserve currency or becomes the dominant money of the world, yung mga gobyerno, mawawala yung kanilang power to print. Magkakaroon sila ng forced discipline. Kung wala na silang kapasidad para mag-print ng pera, yung pera na gagastusin nila para sa operation ng gobyerno, para tulungan yung mga mamamayan, will come from money that they cannot print themselves. So that is why Bitcoin is very important as a solution to the problem of inflation. Dahil under the fiat system, sa isang sistema kung saan yung mga gobyerno ay may kakayahan at karapatan na mag-print ng pera, right? Wala silang disiplina sa kanilang operasyon. Pero kung mag-ooperate sila sa isang system kung saan wala silang kakayahang mag-print ng pera, then you have a solution to the problem of inflation and a solution to the problem of excessive government spending. So, yun yung episode na ito, no? Yung other episodes will talk about why Bitcoin is a machine that governments cannot stop. So, we'll get there soon enough, but for the next episode, we'll talk about a program na excited ako, no? Yung tinatawag na Bitcoin Savings Program. By the way, in case you find the contents of this podcast interesting, or if you're interested in doing a deeper dive into the history of money or the Bitcoin monetary network, you might want to check out the books I have written. They're available locally and internationally. Locally through my website and internationally on Amazon.com. Thank you.